Hi there, this is Jennifer. Welcome to my crafting channel. Today we're going shopping at the Goodwill bins, so let's go there right now. Alright, here we are. We're going into the bins in Northport, Florida. You can see it's right beside our Goodwill. Y'all know that the bins is just a giant treasure hunt that we like to go on maybe a couple times a week. Super fun place. Have been shopping at the bins for decades, since my kids were small. Mostly because it's a place I could always say yes. I can always have what they wanted at the bins. There's probably no carts in here. Oh, there is some carts. That's nice. Like it when there are carts. Oh, it's not even so busy in here today. Wow. I hope that's a good sign. I don't know. I don't know if everybody's been here and gone or exactly what the scenario is. Probably going to switch over to a voiceover at some point in this video because typically they play music. I don't really hear any music right now, but doesn't mean it won't come on. Try to avoid people when I'm here, so if I have my camera pointing down, that's why. Alright, so here we go. Let's start shopping for real here. This is the first bin I grabbed something out of. I always pick up disposable tablecloths or drop cloths when I find them, because when I teach my class at the library once a month, I like to bring my own drop cloths sometimes in case we're painting. I don't want to mess up public property if I can help it. They had a bunch of those little heart cups. I think they were from T-Mobile. T-Mobile has some T-Mobile Tuesday thing where if you have the app, you can go in and grab a freebie every Tuesday. It's not just at their location. It could be any restaurant or whatever around town. I also picked up these vinyl paper holder binder things. They're super handy if you have stencils or like mesh, like chocature type stencils, things like that. Super great to store those in. I have a couple of those that are full of those things. Christmas trees. There's always Christmas stuff at the bins every single time. Trying to avoid Christmas stuff right now. I don't need any. I know y'all are doing Christmas in July. I am actually working on a Christmas in July project, and I hope that I can get it done in July. Working on that. Anyway, those are some cute dolls, but I don't need them. Actually, this whole bins haul turned into just a shopping mission for my sister. I love this little lamp, and had it had the top, I totally would have bought it. Anyway, my sister has a booth, 2 booths actually, 10 by 10 booths at a huge antique mall in Tryon, North Carolina, and sometimes I shop for her, pick up some great things, and send them to her. So what I thought I had found myself, I actually decided to send to my sister because it was such great stuff. I love picking up those racks when I find them, but that particular one hangs on a wall, so I don't need that one for shows. But the tabletop ones I always buy because they're great for displaying framed artwork, especially if the slots are a little bit wider. I love when they have these metal trays. Actually, they call these boats. Look, that's like straight up from the 60s or 70s. Whatever that is. Is it a bunt pan? I don't know what it is. Any springform pan? I don't know what it is. But anyway, I do recognize those colors from my grandma's kitchen when I was a little girl. I'm definitely a child of the 70s and 80s. If you know me, you know that. So these boats full of metal things, these are my favorite ones to dig through, and normally I go through them a few times. It takes me that long. More Christmas stuff. Not interested in Christmas stuff right now. I know, like I said, y'all love Christmas in July, but it's really not my thing. I am working on some really cute Christmas things, but the reason I like Christmas in July is because it's a great exercise in creativity, because it's hard to find Christmas stuff in July. So I do like that part of it. I do buy this frame. I buy this frame because I'm looking for a big frame for my new art piece called Waffles. If you watch me, if you're a regular subscriber, you know that we have our first show coming up in September, our first show of the season, and I do have a new art piece to debut, and that would be Waffles. So I bought that frame for him. I end up taking the picture out because I would have just chucked the picture anyway. And then if I don't have a piece of glass that size for that frame at home, I'll have to buy another frame. That's okay. But it was exactly the kind of frame I'm looking for. It's wooden, it's chunky, it's what I need. So that will be definitely coming up in a video. How I do that with a thrifted frame. How I use thrifted frames to display my artwork at shows. Lots of toys going on in the bins today. These would have been my kids' favorite bins right over there. And you always like, you know, those bright colors just draw the kids right in. There's always lots of kids at our bin store. I do buy this spoon for my sister. I'm going to send that to her. No, actually I'm not, because I dropped it and I chipped it a little bit, so I'm going to fix it and keep it for myself. But I find some really great things for her during this video, during this haul. And I'm going to show you everything I bought and tell you how much I spent at the end of the video. I don't film my entire shopping day here, mostly because there was a lady that was very perturbed by the fact that I was filming, even though you can see I trained my camera away from people. This is just a wooden charger plate, probably came from Hobby Lobby, maybe the Dollar Tree. But they make great, you know, you could put some feet on them and make risers, or you could make a door hanging. I love that, whatever that's called. I forget what it's called. Well, you know, it's a candle votive holder. I love it, but it's just like, it's big. It takes up more room than I want to sacrifice to something on my kitchen table. My husband wouldn't know that, but it's true. I don't know what that is. If you know what that is, tell me. It looks like something you like screw into your workbench and then do something with. I truly don't know what it is. I want to know what it is, because whatever it was old and vintage and, you know, rusty crusty, but I don't know what it is. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know, there's probably something I could have done with that. But there it is. It's still, no, it's not over there. If you go to the bins, you gotta get it when you see it, because it ain't gonna be there the next day. Unless it's a big piece of furniture, then your chances are better. But seriously, I did come across a great gun cabinet for $10 once, and I didn't pick it up for my husband. I took pictures of it. I showed it to him. He's like, oh yeah, let's go back and get it. And that was a day later, and it was still there. So he got lucky, because that doesn't happen very often. I do not need more frames. If you see me out buying frames, say to me, Jennifer, you don't need more frames. I have lots and lots of frames. Look at all these empty bins. Like, seriously, I have a new shopping mission, though. Chloe has decided... my girl Chloe has decided that she wants to make some repurposed clothes for her children. So specifically her girls. She has boys and girls, but she wants to, so she's going to show me what I'm supposed to buy. So I have to buy her some thrifted clothes so she can make repurposed clothes for her 3-year-old and 11-month-old. So that sounds super fun. I think I probably do not need to fall down that rabbit hole, but I'll be glad to shove her down it. These are, I don't know what they were exactly, but I decided in the end I didn't need them. You know, the chances are if you don't know what it is, you don't need it. Rules to live by there. Words to live by anyway. Who needs rules? So this was a little vintage box that I put in my cart. I had grand ideas of what I was going to do with it, and then I decided to send it to my sister. So you're going to see this whole haul is being shipped up to my sister. She pays me, you know, whatever I paid, and then shipping or whatever, and she puts it in her booth. Sometimes it's just easier to come across. One of her booths is strictly vintage, and so it's easier, to get a good, variety of vintage things if you have some shoppers that are willing to send you some stuff from different parts of the country. So, I send her. Now look, this thing I love. Like, if I knew my grandkids were coming, I would so buy that, and then donate it after they leave. So I'm hoping when they do come down, after Chloe's feeling much better, that we can have things like that at the bins. We'll see. They're changing out the bins. You saw them pulling the boats back in the back, and then they replenish one row at a time, several times throughout the day. Here's one of my favorite metal boats. These usually have metal kitchen items in them, and they usually have several of them. And I always know when they're here because they make a lot of noise. This stapler right here, do I show it to you? I picked it up. I had it in my hand. I don't know where it went. Anyway, I stapled myself with it. I did, right through my little finger. I bled and everything. That's probably why I cut it out, because I was super mad at that stapler. Yep, there it is right there. I think this was after I stapled my pinky finger with it. I bought it anyway. I was mad at it, but I bought it anyway. These are cheese knives, and I don't know how old they are. I don't know anything about them, but I thought they were super cute. So I'm sending them to my sister. I think I've said that a few times in this video, because now, it's in the future. I'm done shopping, and I realized that everything I wanted to upcycle is actually pretty good vintage stuff. So you can't upcycle pretty good vintage stuff, right? You just sell it as it is. Look at that vintage ladle. That's pretty cute. Send it to my sister. See, this video is just making me sad. Not really. I do not need any more stuff. Now, I just don't. I love this chair. It's super coastal. I love everything about it. I just don't need it. But look, isn't that super pretty? And it's still in really good shape. I mean, the paint job's perfect, right? Like, just what we like. I found some good things in this bin. I found a vintage flour sifter. And I think that's also where I found my a colander, which you'll see. That's a waste paper basket there, and I'm always tempted to buy things like that. There's a flour sifter that I haven't picked up yet. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I picked it up. I put it in my cart. I got it. That's going to my sister. Ugh, I love you, Evelyn. Seriously, so many great things that I found that I figured she could make better use of than I could right now. I don't know what these little things were, but I always take a good look at things, and then I'm trying to be more picky about what I bring in my workshop, because we spent the last few months upcycling through my hoard, and I can't be hoarding anymore. I love this that what it is, egg tray. It's pretty. But I already have a chicken one that I got here, so I don't need another one. Nope. These are all clothes. Now, I don't have to look at clothes yet, because Chloe hasn't told me what she wants, so I'm not doing it until I need to, because otherwise I'll buy way too much stuff. I really wish I would have bought that big enamel pot, and I must not have seen it. But this is one of those colanders that has the 6-pointed star, so those are kind of like sought after, so I did get that. Guess what I'm doing with it? I'm sending it to my sister. These things were mailing labels. I love buying mailing labels. They have a lot of uses, especially if you make price tags for your booth or your shows, whatever you do. But they were for a laser printer, and I sort of Googled what would happen if I used them in my inkjet printer, and it didn't sound like it was worth the hassle, because they really need the heat set that laser printers give that particular paper. So I didn't figure it'd be worth sending through my inkjet printer. I feel like I send so much stuff through my inkjet printer, and I always have to clean it and align the printer cartridges and all that stuff. So I didn't bother doing that. I don't know what those plastic tubey things were. There were a lot of them. At first, when I first looked at them, I thought they were some kind of weird curlers. So there's some vintage screwdrivers, and that is a soldering iron type thing, I think, but I didn't finish going through that bag to see what was in there. This was air dry clay. Now, it was still super wet. It would have been good for some projects, but I still have some air dry clay I'm trying to get rid of. So in my new self-disciplined way, I let it stay right there. And besides that, it's super heavy, and I don't want to pay more than I would pay for that at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Anyway, years ago when I did resale on eBay and stuff, I would have bought that plate. It looked interesting, and they had a few of them, a few of that set of dishes, super pretty. You know, kind of like Victorian, like kind of over the top, but still pretty. I did buy a bunch of stemware, and Habitat for Humanity donated a bunch of stemware to me when we did a stemware project at the library a few months ago. It was super fun. It was a few months ago. It was last year. We did pumpkins, and they turned out really cute. No more frames. I've already said that. Unless it's for my sister, and then I'll buy one, but I didn't need a plain wood frame. I have lots of them. These were sort of interesting. They're heavy. Those are things that if they weren't like obviously labeled would have been nice to have, but those labels don't come off. They're like baked on, whatever they are. Actually, you know, nothing in this bin, just a bunch of junk. Lots of empty bins at the bins today. Sometimes it works out that way. This was Elizabeth Arden, you know, one of those little gift sets. It was vintage. I looked it up, I Google lensed it, and so I picked it up, and yeah, you guessed it, I'm sending it to my sister. So she is the lucky recipient of a lot of good vintage finds. And so I will definitely post pictures of her booth at some point, or send you or show you a video of her booth, something like that. They're very impressive. She does an excellent job. And that's in Tryon, North Carolina. There's hundreds of vendors, over 400, I feel. Definitely a huge antique mall. Wish we had one here near where I live. I would love that. Love to do something like that. Here's more clothes. Like I said, I am going to be looking for clothes in the near future, but not yet. Bunch of paper stuff. I hate it when people open something and then spread it all over the place. It's kind of annoying. I saw a little boy walking around with these pom-poms later in the Budweiser tin. It was super cute. It kept him content. He was there with his dad and a couple other little boys. Like I said, I used to love to bring my kids to the bins. It got a little sketchy for a while, to be honest. Our bins, you know, sometimes the police comes, stuff like that. Like, somebody stole my cell phone one day. My husband had to go get it because I had location services on, and I knew exactly where it was. So this person wasn't expecting that. We're near the end of our shopping trip here. I should have gotten that rooster. No, I did not get it. Ha, Evelyn. No, seriously, I didn't get it because I don't always like sending breakable things like that in the mail. I feel like might not make it there. So this is what I ended up with. I did not show you this because there was a lady that was very perturbed by me recording for some reason, so I didn't record everything that I bought, but I did find this printer's tray. It's definitely vintage. I thought at first glance that it was a knockoff from Hobby Lobby, you know, just like simulated vintage. Nope, it's the real deal and super pretty. So my sister will be getting that in the mail. If you want to buy it, it will be in Tryon, North Carolina. I think it's just called Tryon Antique Mall. And see, when I dropped that spoon, I chipped it a little bit, but that's okay. I'm gonna fix it, and I'm just gonna, like, you know, keep it in my stash, and when I'm ready, I will do something with that. I looked up those printers trays, and that particular one was selling for about $125. I also found these mushroom things. Like, what are they? I don't know, but they are hand carved. They still have a sticker from Goodwill on them. As you may know, stuff comes from the Goodwill, and when it doesn't sell there, it goes over to the bargain barn, or the bins, as we call it here on YouTube. And then after that, I think it goes to the landfill. But I don't know. We used to have a contract with somebody that bought everything that was left over, and I don't know where they put it. So here's that wooden charger plate. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I might just make myself a little door hanging. Here's that ceramic basket. Have no idea why my camera is blurry. I'm sorry. It'll get over itself soon and straighten up. I really wanted that little ceramic basket because I thought it would be super cute to paint and then put transfers on, but you know what? Somebody's going to love it just the way it is, so my sister can sell it just the way it is. Here's a little teacup that I didn't show myself shopping for, but I did get it. It has a little chip on the inside, though, on the inside rim where the lid rests, and that would not bother me in the least. But I don't know if my sister's going to want it if it's got that chip in it. So maybe I'll keep it and do something Christmassy with it. I think that particular thing would look cute done up for Christmas, especially because it has that red stripe across the bottom. But we'll see. I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. I don't know what I'm doing next. I am doing Christmas for y'all in my next video. Anyway, this little wooden basket, I really, really, really like it. I wanted to do something with it, but I let my sister have it instead. Just because I'm a nice girl. I think I got some more stuff that I didn't show myself putting in the cart because it was so funny. This lady's like looking at me like I'm the sketchy one, but she kept following me around. So I'm like, well, sorry, if you don't like filming, stop following me. Anyway, so there's my vintage flour sifter. It's not as rusty crusty as I like them, but it truly is vintage. What else do I have? Oh, these little cheese spreaders. Is that what they are? I think they were super cute, and I don't know if they were vintage or not, but she has another booth that is not vintage. So she could just stick them in there. I'm going to send them to her. I have no use for them. Sometimes I really do just pick things up for her. This is an insulator that I did not show myself picking up. It was sort of a last minute. I was on my way to the register and I happened to look down and see that. And it's sort of unusual because I don't see them that color very often. And then there's that six-sided, six-pointed star colander. So that definitely went in my cart. Those, like, why do things sell for more than they need to sell for? I don't know. And then I got these, this little brass piece. Definitely vintage. Did a Google lens search on that. And then this other thing I'm going to show you. I don't think this is real brass at all. I think it's been painted. I don't know what it is. It's very heavy metal. So if my sister wants it, she can have it. I'm going to send it to her in her box of stuff. So not sure exactly what it is, but she'll figure that out. Apparently she can't keep brass in her booth, so that's a great thing. And I think this is the last thing I found was this tin. It's from the 80s. It's Hershey's Kisses. Super cute. And I'm just going to fill this up with vintage Scrabble tiles for her. I have more Scrabble tiles than I'm ever going to use. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm not going to upcycle any of this stuff for you this particular video, but stay tuned because that's coming, I promise. I'm going to upcycle again. Anyway, if you liked what you saw, like, subscribe, comment, share, all the things, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.